My beloved child, I know that you are carrying a heaviness in your chest today, a quiet ache that lingers from moments when you felt cast aside, unwanted, or misunderstood by those you trusted. I see the memories that still replay in the theater of your mind, the old rejections that sting as sharply as if they happened only yesterday, leaving you breathless and weary in the stillness of the night. You have wondered why certain doors closed in your face and why certain hearts turned cold toward you, causing you to question your own worthiness and value in this vast world. I want you to take a deep breath right now and listen closely to my whisper, for I am here to tell you that what you felt as a painful rejection was actually my divine redirection and my fierce protection over your life. I know that the silence of being left behind can be deafening, filling your thoughts with doubts that whisper you are not enough, or that you are somehow difficult to love. But I need you to understand that I have been watching over you with a jealous love, guarding your spirit from connections that would have eventually drained your soul and dimmed your light. The stinging sensation of being walked away from is not a sign of your failure, but rather a signal that I was intervening to save you from a future that did not align with the grandeur I have placed inside you. You often only see the pain of the severed bond, but I see the toxicity that would have poisoned your peace had you stayed in that place where you were merely tolerated instead of being celebrated. There is a tenderness in your heart that feels bruised because you gave so much of yourself to people who did not know how to handle the precious weight of your love. You poured out your kindness like water onto dry ground, hoping that if you just loved harder or gave more, they would finally see you and choose you. But rejection is rarely about your lack. It is almost always about their inability to receive the depth of who you are, a depth that I crafted with my own hands. When I remove people from your life, it is often because their chapter in your story has concluded, and keeping them would only delay the beautiful new beginning I am orchestrating for you. You have been looking at your scars and calling them ugly, believing that they are evidence that you are damaged goods. But I look at your heart and see a warrior who has survived the battlefield of misunderstanding. I want to heal that sense of rejection that makes you flinch when someone new tries to get close to you. That fear that says everyone will eventually leave. I am the God who stays, the one who remains constant when the seasons of life change, and when the affections of people shift like the wind. My love for you is not based on your performance or your ability to please others. It is a fixed, eternal reality that anchors you even when the waves of rejection try to knock you down. It is time to stop measuring your value by who walked away and start measuring it by who created you, sustains you, and calls you his own. The stinging pain you feel is valid, and I do not dismiss it, but I ask you to hand it over to me so I can turn that bitterness into a balm that heals your soul. You have been carrying the burden of why for far too long. Why did they leave? Why didn't they call? Why wasn't I chosen? And it is exhausting your spirit. Rest now in the truth that some questions are answered not with explanations, but with the peace of knowing that I am in control and I make no mistakes with your life. Let this moment be a gentle turning point where you stop looking back at the closed doors with regret and start looking at me with expectation. Rejection is the tool I use to clear the path, to sweep away the debris of relationships that were never meant to be your permanent home. You were built for a specific purpose and a specific kind of love, and anything less than that will always feel like a mismatch because your spirit knows it deserves the genuine article. Trust me when I say that the space created by their absence is not an empty void. It is a prepared room for the new blessings I am about to bring in. You have been noticing signs within yourself lately, a growing desire for closure that feels more urgent than ever before, because your spirit is crying out to be made whole again. This is not a sign of weakness or an inability to move on. It is a holy hunger for restoration and a refusal to settle for a fragmented heart any longer. You are tired of carrying the fragmented pieces of your identity that were shattered by the carelessness of others, and you are ready to be reassembled by my grace. This longing you feel is actually the first step toward your healing, a divine prompt nudging you to release the baggage of the past so you can walk upright into your future. Have you noticed how you are beginning to crave boundaries with a newfound clarity, realizing that access to your heart is a privilege that should not be granted to just anyone? This is a sign of your spiritual maturity, a realization that your energy is precious and must be stewarded with wisdom and care. You are learning that saying no to what drains you is actually saying yes to my peace, and that guarding your heart is an act of worship and self-respect. The guilt you used to feel when setting limits is slowly being replaced by a sense of empowerment, because you understand now that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Your spirit is becoming restless with superficial connections and is yearning for clean love, a love that does not come with confusion, games, or hidden agendas. You are done with the drama of trying to decipher mixed signals and wondering where you stand with people, because deep down you know that true love brings clarity, not chaos. This shift in your desires is my spirit working within you, aligning your appetite with the nutritious relationships I have prepared for you. You are no longer satisfied with crumbs of affection, because you are beginning to remember that you are a child of the King, seated at a banquet table prepared for you. There is a weariness in your soul that comes from years of over-explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You are finding that you no longer have the energy to fight for a seat at tables where you are not welcome, and this exhaustion is actually a mercy. It is my way of gently forcing you to stop casting your pearls before swine, and to save your voice for those who have the ears to hear and the hearts to value your wisdom. The silence you are starting to embrace is not isolation. It is a sacred sanctuary where you can hear my voice without the noise of human validation. You are beginning to recognize that your sensitivity is not a flaw to be fixed, but a finely tuned instrument that detects truth and authenticity. When you feel that check in your spirit, that unease around certain people, it is my discernment protecting you from entering into covenants that would harm you. You used to ignore these warnings in your desperation to be included, but now you are learning to trust that inner knowing as my guidance system. This is a sign that you are growing in wisdom, and that you are learning to value my opinion of you more than the fickle acceptance of the crowd. I see how you have been struggling with the feeling that you are too much for some people and not enough for others, leaving you in a constant state of flux and insecurity. But this tension is resolving as you realize that you were never meant to fit into the small boxes that others constructed for you. You are realizing that the right people, your tribe, will not ask you to shrink or to pretend, but will encourage you to expand into the fullness of your God-given potential. The discomfort you feel in certain circles is simply the evidence that you have outgrown them, just as a plant outgrows a pot that is too small for its roots. The desire for validation from those who hurt you is fading, replaced by a desire for my peace that surpasses all understanding. You are starting to see that their approval could never fill the void in your soul, because that space was reserved for me alone. This breaking of the addiction to approval is painful, yes, but it is also liberating, setting you free from the puppet strings of other people's opinions. You are learning to stand tall in your own identity, rooted in the knowledge that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, regardless of who sees it and who remains blind. You are finding that your tolerance for drama and toxicity has hit zero, and you are willing to walk alone rather than walk in bad company. This is a brave and courageous step, for it takes great faith to trust that solitude with me is better than company with those who diminish your spirit. You are purging your life of the clutter of bad relationships, making room for the divine connections that will support your destiny and honor your heart. This cleaning house is necessary work, and I am proud of the strength you are showing as you let go of what no longer serves your growth. Finally, you are realizing that you want to be loved for who you are, not for what you can do for others or how you make them feel. You are done with transactional relationships where you are only valuable as long as you are useful, and you are seeking unconditional regard. This desire mirrors my love for you, which is free, unearned, and everlasting, and it is a sign that you are ready to receive the kind of love that heals rather than hurts. You are moving toward a season of wholeness, where your relationships will be a reflection of the health and peace that I am establishing within your soul. I know the nights when you lay awake, replaying conversations in your head, dissecting every word and tone, wondering if you said something wrong or if you were too eager. This mental loop is a trap of the enemy, designed to keep you stuck in a past that cannot be changed, paralyzing you with regret and anxiety. You analyze your own behavior with a microscope, looking for the flaw that caused the rejection, but I want you to stop tormenting yourself with these what-ifs. You cannot analyze your way into peace, and you cannot find the answer to your worth in the wreckage of a broken connection. You must look to me. The heavy blanket of self-blame that falls upon you after someone's no is a burden I never asked you to carry. You instantly assume that their rejection is a verdict on your value, a confirmation of your deepest insecurities, but this is a lie that steals your joy. Just because someone could not see your worth does not mean you are worthless. It simply means they were blind to the treasure standing before them. You must stop internalizing their choices as your failures, for people choose based on their own brokenness, their own capacity, and their own limited perspective, none of which defines you. There is a quiet fear of being rejected again that has caused you to build high walls around your heart, walls that you think will keep you safe, but only keep you lonely. You hesitate to reach out, to smile, to trust, because the memory of the last pain is so vivid that it overrides your hope for connection. I understand this protective instinct, but I do not want you to live in a prison of your own making, isolated from the love that is waiting for you. I want to heal that fear so that you can love again, not with a naive heart, but with a wise and guarded heart that is open to the right people. I see how you are avoiding vulnerability, hiding your true self behind a mask of perfection or indifference, because you believe that if people saw the real you, they would leave. You show the world a polished version of yourself, hoping it is enough to secure their affection, but this only leaves you feeling unseen and unknown even when you are surrounded by people. True connection requires vulnerability, and I want to give you the courage to be imperfect, to be real, and to trust that the right ones will love your messy, beautiful truth. You do not have to perform for love, you just have to be. Bitterness has been quietly growing in the corners of your heart, a subtle poison that taints your view of the world and makes you suspicious of every kindness. You may not even realize it is there, but it leaks out in your cynicism, your quickness to judge, and your reluctance to hope. This bitterness is a defense mechanism, a way to numb the pain, but it blocks the flow of my blessings and keeps your wounds infected. I want to wash that bitterness away with my grace, helping you to forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free from the heavy chain of resentment. You struggle with the feeling of being left out, watching others celebrate relationships and milestones while you feel stuck in a waiting room. The enemy whispers that you have been forgotten, that everyone else is moving forward while you are standing still. But I tell you that your timeline is unique. Comparison is the thief of joy, and looking at others' highlight reels will only deepen your sense of rejection and inadequacy. Trust that I am working on your behalf behind the scenes, preparing a table for you that is far greater than anything you are observing in the lives of others. There is a deep-seated belief that you are somehow too difficult or too sensitive to be loved, a narrative that has been reinforced by those who did not take the time to understand you. You try to shrink yourself to be less of who you are, hoping that if you are smaller, you will be safer and more acceptable. But I created you with all your depth, your emotions, and your complexities on purpose, and I do not make mistakes. The struggle to suppress your true nature is exhausting, and I am calling you to embrace the fullness of your design, knowing that your intensity is a gift, not a curse. You often feel like an option to people, never a priority, always the one who reaches out, the one who makes the plans, the one who cares more. This imbalance hurts your heart and makes you feel invisible, reinforcing the lie that you are easily replaceable. But I want you to know that to me, you are never an option. You are my priority, the apple of my eye, and I have loved you with an everlasting love. I want to heal that wound of insignificance and teach you to value yourself enough to walk away from situations where you are merely tolerated. The fear of abandonment triggers a panic in your spirit whenever a relationship hits a rough patch, causing you to cling too tightly or to sabotage it before they can leave you. This anxiety stems from the old wounds of rejection, the times when you were dropped without warning, and it prevents you from experiencing secure attachment. I want to soothe that anxious child within you, reassuring you that you are safe, that you are held, and that not everyone will leave. My love is a stabilizing force that can calm your fears and help you navigate conflict without the terror of impending loss. You have been holding onto words that were spoken over you years ago, cruel labels and harsh judgments that have become part of your inner dialogue. These words replay in your mind when you are feeling low, confirming your worst fears about yourself. I want to break the power of those curses and replace them with my truth, which says you are chosen, royal, holy, and beloved. You must stop agreeing with the enemy's description of you and start agreeing with mine, for my word is the only definition that holds eternal weight. I see the loneliness that you hide from the world, the ache that comes when you are in a crowded room but feel completely alone. You smile and laugh, but inside you are wondering if anyone truly knows the real you, the one behind the pleasant facade. This isolation is a struggle that I want to address, reminding you that I am closer than your very breath and that I understand every nuance of your soul. You are never truly alone, for I am with you, walking beside you, and I am bringing people who will see you and cherish you for who you really are. You struggle with the feeling that you missed your chance, that the rejection you faced was the end of your story, the closing of the final door. You look at your past with regret, wishing you had done things differently, believing that you ruined your own happiness. But I am the God of redemption, the God who restores the years the locusts have eaten, and I tell you that your story is far from over. One rejection cannot cancel your destiny, and one mistake cannot derail my plan for your life. I am able to weave even your broken pieces into a masterpiece. The temptation to settle for less is strong. The urge to accept crumbs of affection because you are starving for connection. You think that some love is better than no love, so you lower your standards and compromise your values just to have someone by your side. But this settling only leads to more pain, more rejection, and a deeper sense of unworthiness. I want you to trust me enough to wait for the best, to believe that you are worth the full portion, and to refuse to accept anything that does not honor your spirit. You find it hard to trust my timing, feeling like I have forgotten you, or that I am withholding good things from you while others prosper. This impatience is a struggle born of pain, a desperate desire for the hurting to stop and the happy ending to begin. But I ask you to trust my heart even when you cannot trace my hand, knowing that I am never late and I am never absent. The waiting creates a capacity in you to hold the blessing when it comes, ensuring that you are ready to receive what I have prepared. Sometimes you feel a deep anger towards those who hurt you, an anger that you feel guilty for having because you know you should forgive. You struggle with the injustice of it all, how they seem to be living happy lives while you are picking up the pieces. I want you to be honest with me about this anger. Do not hide it, for I can handle your raw emotions. Give it to me. Let me be the judge, and let me carry the burden of justice while you focus on your healing. You are afraid that you are damaged goods, that your past rejections have left too many scars for anyone to ever love you properly. You feel like a broken vessel, glued back together but fragile, and you worry that you will never be truly whole. But in my kingdom, scars are not signs of defect. They are testimonies of healing and badges of honor. I specialize in making beautiful things out of dust and ashes, and your brokenness is the canvas upon which I will paint my greatest glory. The struggle to believe in a happy future is real. You have been disappointed so many times that hope feels dangerous, like a setup for another fall. You protect yourself by expecting the worst, by cynicism, by refusing to get your hopes up. But I am the God of hope, and I am calling you to dare to believe again, to risk hope, because my promises are true. Do not let the pain of the past rob you of the joy of the future. Lift up your head, for your redemption draws nigh. Finally, you struggle with feeling unseen by me, wondering if I truly care about your heartbreak, or if I am distant and indifferent. You pray and feel like your words hit the ceiling, and the silence feeds your sense of rejection. But I want you to know that I am collecting every tear in a bottle, that I hear every sigh, and that I am working in the silence. You are the object of my deepest affection, and I am moving heaven and earth to bring you to a place of healing and restoration. I want to give you a revelation that will change how you view your past. Some people simply could not hold your growth. They were comfortable with who you were, but they were threatened by who you were becoming, and their rejection was a reaction to your elevation. You were expanding, reaching for new heights, and they were content to stay on the ground. The tension between your destiny and their stagnation caused the break. It was not that you were too much, but that their capacity was too small to accommodate the greatness I am birthing in you. You must understand that my no is always a preservative for your yes. When I block a relationship or close a door, I am preserving you for the right alignment, saving you from a connection that would have derailed your purpose. You cried over the no, not realizing that it was a divine shield protecting you from a heartache far worse than the rejection you felt. I see the end from the beginning, and I knew that if you had continued down that path, you would have lost yourself. So I intervened to save you for the yes that truly matters. What didn't choose you didn't define you. Let that truth sink deep into your spirit and shatter the lies of the enemy. A person's inability to choose you says everything about them, their preferences, their readiness, their blindness, and nothing about your intrinsic worth. Your value was established at the cross, sealed by my love, and it is not subject to the fluctuation of human opinion or the whims of dating and friendship. You are chosen by the Creator of the universe, and that is the only definition that is permanent and true. The rejection was necessary to break the soul ties that were binding you to a level of life you have outgrown. You were trying to fly with eagles while tethered to chickens, and the pain of the separation was the cutting of those cords. It felt like a loss, but it was actually a liberation, a setting free of your spirit so you could soar to the altitudes you were designed for. I had to make it uncomfortable for you to stay, so that you would be willing to leave and step into the destiny that awaits you. Sometimes I allow rejection to reveal the true character of those around you, peeling back the masks so you can see who is truly for you and who is not. When people walk away when you need them most, or turn on you when you are vulnerable, they are showing you their true colors. Believe them. Do not try to paint over their reality with your excuses. Thank me for the revelation and for removing the counterfeit from your life. I am clearing your circle to ensure that those who remain are the ones who will stand with you in the battles to come. You have been mourning the loss of potential, grieving what could have been, but I want you to know that the potential was an illusion. If they were the right one, they would have stayed. If the job was the right fit, the door would have opened. You are grieving a fantasy, a projection of your own desires onto a situation that was not real. Let go of the could-have-beens and trust in the will-be, for my reality is far better than your imagination. The pain you feel is the pain of pruning, a necessary process for any branch that is destined to bear much fruit. I prune away the dead leaves, the sucker branches, the things that are draining life without producing value, so that you can be healthy and productive. It hurts, yes, but it is the hurt of healing, not the hurt of harm. It is the husbandman caring for his vine. Trust the pruning shears in my hand, for I know exactly what needs to go to make room for the abundance that is coming. Rejection is often the vehicle I use to drive you closer to me, stripping away the idols of human approval until I am your only source. When all other supports are kicked away, you learn to lean on the rock of ages, and you discover a strength in me that you never knew existed. This season of loneliness has been a season of deepening, where your roots have gone down deep into my love, because they had nowhere else to go. You will look back on this time and thank me for the intimacy we cultivated in the dark. You are being repositioned, not rejected. Think of a chess master moving a piece to a strategic location for a winning move. You were in a place where you could not be effective, where your gifts were stifled, and I moved you to a place where you can thrive. The transition is uncomfortable, but the new position is one of power, influence, and purpose. Trust the hand that moves you, for I am positioning you for a victory that will bless not just you, but generations after you. The rejection you faced was a test of your identity, a challenge to see if you would believe what people said or what I said. It was a refining fire that burned away the dross of people-pleasing and insecurity, leaving behind the pure gold of confident faith. You are emerging from this fire not as a victim, but as a vessel of honor, tested and proven, ready for the Master's use. You now know that if God is for you, it truly does not matter who is against you. Understand that your destiny is too great to be entrusted to those who do not value you. I could not allow you to be mishandled. I hid you from them, or I removed them from you, to protect the treasure that I have placed within earthen vessels. You felt exposed and abandoned, but you were actually being hidden in the shadow of my wings, kept safe from those who would exploit or diminish your light. You are my precious jewel, and I guard you with the fierceness of a lion. The people who left were simply scaffolding. They were there to help you build a certain part of your life, but they were never meant to be part of the permanent structure. When the building reached a certain height, the scaffolding had to come down so the beauty of the building could be revealed. Do not try to hold onto the scaffolding. Let it go with gratitude for its temporary purpose, and stand tall in the beauty of what has been built. You are learning that your value is intrinsic, not extrinsic. It comes from inside, from my spirit dwelling in you, not from the outside applause. The rejection forced you to go inward, to find the well of living water within your own soul, and that discovery is priceless. You no longer need to beg for water from empty cisterns, because you carry a fountain within you that never runs dry. This independence from human validation is the truest freedom you will ever know. I am teaching you to be the chooser, not just the one waiting to be chosen, to evaluate who is worthy of your time and heart. You have spent so long hoping someone would pick you that you forgot to ask if they were good enough for you. This shift in perspective is the revelation of your royalty. You are a child of the King, and you have a say in who enters your courts. Stand up and take your place as a sovereign over your own heart, guarding the gates with wisdom. The rejection is the setup for a testimony that will heal thousands. Your pain is not just for you, but for the many who will come after you. You will be able to speak to the brokenhearted with authority, because you have walked through the valley and come out on the other side. Your scars will become stars, guiding others out of the darkness of despair and into the light of my love. You are being crafted into a healer, a wounded healer who knows the way to the great physician. My child, I encourage you today to release the wound but keep the wisdom. Let go of the pain, but hold onto the lesson it taught you. You do not need to carry the bitterness to remember the boundary. You can forgive and still be wise. Let the heavy baggage drop from your shoulders today, for you cannot run the race marked out for you while carrying the weight of the past. I am offering you an exchange, your heavy yoke for my light burden, your pain for my peace. Bless the past without returning to it. Speak peace over the memories and then turn your face toward the sun. You can be grateful for the good times and the lessons learned without needing to resurrect what I have laid to rest. There is no life in the tomb of yesterday. The life is in the present moment, and the future I am unveiling. Release the people who hurt you into my hands, for forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door of your own prison. Say yes to the places where you are celebrated, not just tolerated. Go where your presence is cherished and your gifts are honored. There are people waiting for you, tribes that are looking for exactly what you have to offer, and they will receive you with joy. Do not waste another moment trying to force a fit where there is none. Go where the love flows easily and the connection feels like home. You deserve to be in a room where your light is welcomed, not dimmed. I am healing your sense of rejection by filling you with a fresh revelation of my love, a love that is fierce, loyal, and unchanging. Let my love wash over you like a warm wave, cleansing every doubt and soothing every ache. Soak in the truth that you are the favorite of heaven, that the angels rejoice over you, and that I sing songs of deliverance around you. You are loved more than you can comprehend, and that love is the anchor for your soul. Lift your eyes from the closed doors and look for the open windows. Look for the new opportunities that are springing up around you. I am doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? It is time to get your hopes up again, to dream again, to believe that the best is truly yet to come. The season of mourning is over. The season of dancing has begun. Put on your garment of praise and shake off the spirit of heaviness. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable again, for love requires courage, and I have given you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. You are strong enough to handle life, strong enough to love again, because I am your strength. Step out in faith, take a risk on connection, and trust that I will catch you if you stumble. The world needs your heart, your unique, beautiful, tender heart, so do not hide it away. I am restoring your confidence, rebuilding the ruins of your self-esteem, and setting your feet on a solid rock. You will walk with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in the quiet assurance of who you are in me. The shame of rejection is being stripped away, replaced by a robe of righteousness and a crown of beauty. You are royalty, and it is time you walked like it. Remember that you are never alone in this journey. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. When you feel the sting of rejection, turn to me immediately, and I will remind you of who you are. I am your defender, your comforter, your father, and your friend. Lean on me, talk to me, and let my presence be the antidote to your pain. Your future is bright, filled with promise, purpose, and people who will love you the way you deserve to be loved. Do not let the shadows of the past darken the light of your tomorrow. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Trust in those plans, trust in my heart, and step forward with anticipation. You are a masterpiece, a unique creation, and there is no one else in the world like you. That is your superpower. Do not try to be a copy of someone else to be accepted. Be your authentic self, for that is who I created, and that is who the world needs. Your quirks, your passions, your style, they are all part of my design. Celebrate yourself today, for I celebrate you every day. Take a deep breath and receive my peace. Let it settle into your bones and calm your racing mind. The battle is over. You have survived, and now it is time to thrive. You are loved, you are wanted, you are chosen, and you are mine. Walk in that truth, live in that freedom, and let your heart be healed. As we close this time together, I invite you to stay connected to this stream of encouragement and hope. If this message has touched your heart, I gently invite you to subscribe to this channel, not as a command, but as a way to keep your spirit nourished with truth. By joining us, you ensure that these whispers of love and healing continue to find you when you need them most. You are not alone, and we are walking this path of healing together, hand in hand with me.